All right.
We're back.
Off topic.
We're back.
What's up, y'all?
We're getting off topic. What's up? I'm Bjorn RG. You can follow me on Instagram, Skate Cub.
I'm Nick Scalzone at Nick Scalzone Comedy on IG.
And you can always follow our podcast, which is Size 10 Podcast on all our social medias.
And you should follow Terry on Twitter.
You can if you
Terry
want.
was taken, right?
Terry was taken with like
Yep.
underscores. Yeah, if you guys want to follow me online,
Yeah.
by all means.
Yeah. He's out there. He's tweeting.
Yo, my shit's been fire
Tweeting
lately, actually.
tweets.
I found out about portrait mode on my phone. I put a photo of my dog up. If you're like one of those sickos,
There you
you're
go.
like,
There's puppy pictures. Follow
if
his-
you're like a normal Twitter user who's miserable all the time and you're like, I need to see your dogs. Yeah,
Wasn't that a
follow
thing?
me.
Didn't they like study social media and they found that Twitter was like had the highest percentage of angry users?
I could see that being very, because like, what's the other ones? Facebook, Instagram.
Facebook is like old people. It's
Yeah.
got a lot of angry people too.
It does.
Instagram has way less anger. That's why I like Instagram. It's just like pictures of shit.
Yeah, let's not get in the social media
like,
rabbit
what
hole.
is the better?
Yeah, I don't.
one?
I. There's things about Twitter that I like. There's things about Twitter that I don't like. And at the end of the day, if I'm being honest with myself, it's just unfortunately a thing that I do. So
Either way, follow Terry.
yeah, follow me.
I'm more of a Twitter voyeur. Is that would be a thing where I just go on there and I look at stuff.
You consume the content of Twitter, but you do not add.
I do not ever
That's how
add
I am
anything.
with all social media. Like my personal any account, you'll hear. I post once a year, and it's to thank people for
Twitter
wishing me a
cuck.
happy birthday.
There you
I'm
go.
a Twitter cuck. Is what I am. I like to watch.
Oh my God.
I just like to see people get into fights and
I
do stuff.
I do enjoy.
I have no skin in the game.
Occasionally, I like a fight. Sometimes those are exhausting to me. Just people fighting
Dude,
online.
I can't do that shit anymore. It's actually, I'm glad you brought that up. This is a thing that I've been talking to the big homie Charlie, who hopefully I'll hit him up. We'll see if we can get him on the show next week. And I have this new rule, and I would say for the listeners at home, maybe you want to take this on. It's you don't touch the shit. And what I mean by that is like every once in a while, some fucking prick will jump in my mentions and say some shit to me that like gets me all riled up, rustles my jimmies. And I want to get back at him. I'm like, hey, buddy, you're not going to say that to me on my internet. I don't think so. But here's the thing. That's a big pile of shit, right? I can look at it. I can smell it. I can talk to other people about the pile of shit. But the moment that I touch the pile of shit, the shit is now on me. And I can't get it off. And it's one of these things like, there's definitely been times where I've gotten some slap fights on the internet.
Yeah.
And there's never resolution. You're never like, yeah, nailed that one. You're always just like, and the worst motherfuckers on there, they just keep going until you got to like block them or something. So
Yeah.
I want to start starting fights with people and then just be like, you know what? You're right. Like, and then see what they
Just
do
see
at
what
that
they
point.
do.
Just fully concede like 2 tweets in.
like,
Just
oh, I
fully.
didn't really-
No. I think you got to
Great
concede.
point.
You got to wait until like 5 or 6. You got to get them fired
Like
up.
really
You got to
going
know
for
that
it.
this person is just bouncing off the walls in their apartment, just angry at the world, just yelling into the void, just like, I'm
then just-
going to win this internet fight, and then figure out, like, they
Great
might not
point.
even, what would they do?
Terry, what would you do if you were arguing with somebody?
And they were just like, you know what? I've never considered it from that perspective before. You've really helped me come to a new avenue of thinking.
Like, right after you just
Would
yelled
you
internet
share-
insults at them like every Twitter user does.
Like,
Like they did you probably said something snarky and sarcastic.
Yo,
I'm not saying
honestly-
you. I'm saying
Sure.
average Twitter angry person. They're gonna have said like 9 snarky, sarcastic, something about privilege, like just a whole shitload of nonsense, and then the person concedes. Like, how does that person react?
I think that it's unfortunately just going to validate their desire to yell at people on the
Yeah.
internet. They're going to be like, all right, finally. Got one of
Next
them.
one.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, I'm getting pretty good at
Wow,
this.
snarky sarcasm
Yeah.
works.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna call
nailing
more
it.
Really
people
nailing it.
stupid.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay, you're right. Don't do that, Bjorn. It's
Yeah,
All
don't do
right.
that. But speaking of calling people stupid,
yes.
that's what I showed up for Off Topic today to do.
Yep.
Oh, that's fun.
We were talking a little bit beforehand, and one of the things, so when this airs, we've got we're just on the cusp.
Yeah, this is gonna air a week out from New Year's.
You know what's kind of weird? This is off topic of the off topic.
Yeah, that's okay.
Christmas is just Jesus' birthday.
Yeah.
Like, we don't MLK, we celebrate his birthday,
Yeah.
right? What are like other birthdays where we're just like stop everything?
Full
think-
stop.
George Washington's birthday. If you work for the government, you get the day off.
Yeah.
Who else is-
Columbus's birthday.
But maybe
I don't think that's his birthday. That was just the day he showed up, and they
Yeah.
renamed that holiday.
so here's maybe
Um,
the actual question I want to ask is
Yeah.
like, does it feel strange that that's what we like? It's arguably, correct me if I'm wrong. I know Easter, he came
Yeah.
back to life. He has risen.
That was his second birthday.
Now,
Yeah. This is-
I think that's like a pretty big reason for a celebration is like, hey, did you hear?
Yeah.
Jesus back from the dead. Came out of that cave. Wild.
That is a little more surprising.
But it's just like, yo, birthdays are regular. Jehovah's Witnesses don't even celebrate anybody's birthday, let alone
Right.
the Lord
They
and
don't
Savior.
celebrate Jesus's either. They are
Yeah.
consistent
yeah,
with
yeah,
that.
yeah. And I guess my question is like,
Yeah.
is it just kind of hack to celebrate Jesus' birthday when he like created miracles and like did all these other things?
I sometimes wonder, like, was he even really born?
I think a bunch of dorks have gone through the Bible and tried to determine whether or not he was born on Christmas, and most of them agree he wasn't. I don't know when they decided
well,
he was.
he is the reason for the season, though.
Well,
so.
Yeah.
He is, and I feel like the reason that it's just like to like have some joy in
Yeah.
the winter. I really feel like is what it's
Yeah,
supposed
I
to be.
think
It's
every-
it was like to get through this like time where you couldn't farm and like
Yeah, wasn't
go
that like every
outside.
culture, whether or not they had a religion that had anything to do with any of the like religions today?
they made up an
They
excuse
always
to have
had
a good
winter
time.
festival where they were
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Bro, we're halfway through and we didn't die yet.
We haven't died.
Put up a tree
Let's
in the house.
drink a
and
bunch.
Let's try to burn the house down as hard as we can, because it'll be briefly warm and then we're out of our misery."
Oh, you mean
So-
like when they used to put literal candles on the Christmas trees
Right.
instead of lights?
I mean, people still bring a real actual tree into their homes, so
And
like
just let that shit dry out with
Yeah.
electricity
Yeah, and you just
pumping
have
to it.
hot electricity surrounding a real
yeah.
dead tree.
Yeah, yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
come from a fake tree home. If you
Oh,
haven't,
really?
Yeah, born and raised fake
My
tree.
my
Never had
parents
real
have
tree.
a low key Christmas tree farm.
I was
so
just gonna say, I feel like you would get kicked the fuck out of Montana saying
Yeah.
something like that. That is
I'm
interesting.
surprised.
No,
I-
and I will go down with the ship. I'm a fake tree.
I think there's benefits for sure.
Yeah, I'm a fake
Um,
tree guy. I like it. I like that I don't have to vacuum. I'm not really
Yeah.
a Christmas tree guy in the first place, but if I were to have one in my own house, it'd be a fake tree like we had growing up.
I'll tell you this.
That we had on our
I don't make a
special.
big to do when it comes to
Mhm.
the season. But last year, our roommates at the time and Jules, my partner, they got a real tree,
Uh-huh.
dressed it up real nice, and it was nice. I enjoyed it. Smelled good, the whole nine. But I ain't gonna do that shit on my own.
No, it's a lot of work.
I mean,
Yeah.
even putting up the fireplace on our holiday episode was a bit much for me. So
Yeah, you had to Google fireplace video. That
no,
was,
we Netflixed it.
yeah, we Netflixed it, and then we
We
had to
didn't-
slow it down.
we
We
don't
slowed
need
it down
to-
so it would be the rest
We
of the
knew that
now
we
Netflix
knew we were
is
gonna
gonna
run
hear
long.
this and ask for our profits, you guys.
Hey, Netflix.
You guys were
eat my
shitting on me
fucking ass.
for my business ideas last
Netflix,
week.
guess what? I've never paid since you stopped sending me DVDs. I've just been piggybacking off of other people's accounts.
Netflix,
Ooh.
I have been paying since 2013, and I've given my password to a lot of people, and I
Yeah.
don't mind carrying the team because I'm a good
There
person.
you go. True mensch.
Fair. Okay, we were actually what we were going to talk about, and you briefly
A
brought up
non-secular
Halloween,
holiday.
Yeah.
which is one of them.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk about New Year's and New Year's Eve, but more broadly,
let's
we're
get
going to
into
talk
it,
about
and I think we'll
drinking
make the
holidays.
connection. Yeah, the
Okay, so
boozing
I-
holidays.
The whole reason we came up with this idea is I'm trying to figure out ideas of something to do on New Year's Eve.
Well, let's do
Because
this.
I have a girlfriend now, and
What'd you
I've never really
do?
had a girlfriend before, and so I need like fun couple activities for New
Oh,
Year's
you've
Eve.
never kissed on the stroke of midnight?
No.
I think I've done that like once.
I've done it a bunch.
Yeah.
It sounds like a.
It
whatever.
seems
I'm not a whore.
I am a slut,
Oh.
so it's fine.
Well, hold on. Before we get into it, pre-COVID, because
Yes.
we got to understand we just had a couple years wiped off the board.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be
Last year,
kissing
New
everybody
Year's
like
Eve,
I was.
I watched the Two Bears One Cave live
Okay.
New Year's Eve show
Gotcha.
that ended an hour early because Tom and Bert got too drunk.
Too shit-faced.
Big fan of both of you, Tom and Bert. Boo on that. I wanted you to go another hour. You guys could have made it. Bert, you're the fucking machine. Anyway. And so then I watched other podcasts at midnight.
What was the last notable New Year's Eve that you had? Thing that you can like remember and you're like, hey, I did something. It doesn't have to be good, but you're like, I went out, I stayed out.
Yeah, so I went out 2018 into 2019.
Uh-huh.
I went out with these people. I just went out on my own, and then this guy hit me up who I'd met like at my friend's birthday party. He's like, hey,
Okay.
me and my friends are all hanging out. You should come. And so I went to Southeast Beulah Land.
Yep.
That's the bar I
Yep.
went to first. And hung out with them, and then we ended up at Chopsticks on
Sandy?
Sandy.
Sandy.
And that's where I was for New Year's. And then I took the bus home because Ubers were $50. And so
And the bus was probably free?
Yeah, it was.
I feel like
think
they do
it's
stuff
free.
like that.
Yeah, so I took the bus on Sandy all the way out to 82nd and Sandy at 2 in the morning on New Year's, and then back over
I'm
to.
familiar with the area. Yep.
And I wasn't murdered, and so that was a good ending. I did get a cold 2 days later that lasted for a week and a half.
That's not for the cold, but yeah. Bjorn, what was the last memorable New Year's that you had?
Memorable New Year's?
Like the one where you're just like, yeah, I can. It pops to my memory.
Well, all right. First one, because I asked the question, have you ever kissed somebody on New Year's? The New Year's that I came out, or the New Year's after I came out was the first time I was like, I had been like hanging out at gay bars, and like I went to a gay bar. Shout out to the Saloon, which is more of a Twinkie bar, if you were to have a genre of bars. It's a just like any other gay bar. It's weirdly cowboy themed for some reason, but then there's just like anyway, I don't understand why it is. But there's like naked men and stuff.
The gays do love their camp.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like,
And I just remember it was like the biggest. It felt like I was in that movie like Party Monster or something. It's just like there's just people. There's glitter everywhere. It was just like whatever the gayest party thing that you can think of, that was happening.
There was just penises galore.
There's just like penises on stage, and then there's just like, I don't know, just like a lot of color and a lot of glitter. And just a lot of like
costumes.
Yeah,
makeup.
costumes, loud. And I made out with my current boyfriend, and then I made out with like, I don't know, 6 or 7 other people that were just within kissing distance of me in that moment.
Like your boyfriend at the time. Paul didn't happen to be there and
Wait,
then
no.
disappear out of your life for 10 years and then show back
Nope.
up? Okay.
Just a bunch of different guys, and somebody took a picture of me and my boyfriend at the time and posted it on Facebook. And that was when I unintentionally came out to everyone on my Facebook because I was tagged in it, and it was very clear, beard on beard.
You know, what would be a fun way to like try to not necessarily get out of it, but you're just like, yeah, I was really drunk.
Yeah, I was wasted.
And they're just like, oh, okay. And you're like, I mean, that's not why I did that, but I was also really drunk.
Well, it was a whole thing because I was upset about it, that I was tagged in the photo. And then I talked to my boyfriend at the time, and I was just like, yo, and he was just like, what's the problem? And instead of like being respectful of me being upset about it, he made it his profile picture.
Oh.
And like,
Okay, that's actually knowing him pretty.
of the two of us
Yeah, it
making
tracks.
out,
It tracks.
just kind of. I mean, it definitely was just like getting shoved out of the closet in a way.
Yeah.
Because I had come out to like my parents, but not like I hadn't like changed my status or anything on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, there's Bjorn making out with a dude. Oh, there's Bjorn making out with another dude.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like, well, Bjorn's out and he's out and about. This kid
oh boy.
he's going for it. Yeah.
that would probably be the most memorable that I can think of. Otherwise, it's just like, I always remember it being very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Of like, it's so exciting, and then you're just like, oh, what are we gonna do with all this glitter? Like,
I think one of the interesting things about New Year's is that the climax is relatively. Now, this is also fun. It's relatively early in the evening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or relatively late, like because you always fall into one crowd. There's always the people that are like, I'm not going out until 11:30 because the ball's gonna drop, and then my balls are dropping.
Yeah.
And then there's the people that are like, do I really have to stay up like this? No one's like, yeah. I mean, I usually hang out until 12:45, and then I go home. You gotta pick a camp.
Yeah.
And then you're out or you're not. I cannot think. This is a thing for me. New Year's, since I was in high school, I remember distinctly going to like a high school party and just like not feeling it. I was a straight edge kid, so like I wasn't doing any drugs or anything.
Yeah.
And I literally went home, and it was like 11 o'clock, and I got home, and it was just like New Year's by myself. New Year's has never been a cool holiday for me. And then I think to the point that you were kind of alluding to before, Nick, for me, so I will say the last probably 5 New Year's, including COVID, 4 of them I was probably at the crib. And a lot of them, like I'll say this, my most memorable New Year's was when I was living in North New Jersey with Andrew. We went into New York City to visit a friend of ours. Long story short, that was when I realized that I had to stop fucking hanging out with that friend. And we were in New York, and I was like, we had to make an escape. I was like, Andrew, dude, we can't hang out with this guy all night. He's a fucking psychopath. Like, and he hasn't even started doing cocaine yet. And and it turned into this, like, I'll tell you all the story offline, but basically we then had to drive out of New York City, and I was like, Andrew, you're driving. Whatever you do not take us into Manhattan. It is going to be a fucking nightmare. We got to take, like, the GWB. And he's like, I know where I'm going. The directions are... Of course, I'm like, I can see Times Square right now. There's, like, cops everywhere. Like, the little NYPD, like, sawhorses are all over the place. Took us, like, forever to get out. So we went home, and we watched West Wing. And then I was like, oh, shit, hey, Happy New Year's, like, 5 minutes ago. And then we just went to sleep like shortly afterwards and woke up the next day. Now, all of this being said, one of the reasons why as an adult I'm not really into New Year's, you said it, it's a drinking holiday. And my bone to pick, I was a avid drinker for a portion of my life. I abstain these days. And when I was drinking, I hated drinking holidays because it's fucking amateur hour. Like, I had my favorite bars that I went to no matter if it was the holiday or not. And all of a sudden, it's full of a bunch of fucking pricks who, like, never go out, don't know how to drink at a high level, and they just want to scream all night. And I'm just like, man, I like this place. I like shooting pool here. I can't hear Stones on the jukebox.
Yeah.
Like, buzz off. So I've never really been into it. Is that kind of your experience?
100%. And actually, I remember back when I was in college, like, the first summer, like, when I turned 21, I started going out, and that was also when I first got into podcasts. And I remember around Halloween, I think. It was either Halloween or St. Patrick's Day, or maybe, like, Labor Day. I don't know. I was listening to Bill Burr's podcast, and he was talking about this exact thing.
Really?
He's like, dude, he goes, fucking St. Patrick's Day, dude. It's fucking amateur night.
It's the
fucking
worst.
amateur night, dude. Bunch of dipshits drinking green Jameson. Go fuck yourself. Anyway, so
Yeah.
And Bill Burr is 100% right. It is amateur night. It sucks. And yeah, for the exact same reasons. It's
Real
like
quick, what are the holidays? So we said Halloween,
St. Patrick's Day, New Year's are top 3.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Okay.
What about? I guess it all depends on your family.
It depends on where you are, because if you're in Dillon,
Fucking
Montana,
pricks, man.
Labor Day is a bigger drinking
4th of
holiday
July?
than anything.
Oh, 4th of July.
4th of July, but I love that one because it's not a bars drinking holiday.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
barbecue
it's
with
outside.
your friends.
Yeah.
And so those are your boys probably that you already drink with. And now you just get to drink with them and blow shit up. That's fucking awesome.
I will
You
say
get
4th of July.
hamburgers and beer and explosions.
I used to like
Fuck
it.
yes.
I grew to hate it. 4th of July in Bend, Oregon. Like, I don't want to be within 100 miles of that fucking city on the 4th of July because
Why?
it's just like Bend frat boys doing the outdoor drinking. everywhere. Like
that
you
sounds
can't get away from
believable.
it. Bjorn, do you got any, or do we hit like all the big ones?
I think we hit all of them.
Yeah. What's
I
your
can-
thought on drinking holidays like that?
Yeah, it is amateur hour. It's like my deal with like so many times for if I have like gone for it on any of those is I'm done so early. So like especially like New Year's, there's been a few times where like I got so drunk so early that like I just like I don't know, I just went to sleep
At like 11
at
and
the
you woke up
bar or
and
at the home.
you woke up in the new year.
Like yeah, people were like,
unhappy.
"Hey Bjorn, here's your coat. We gotta go home." Like, oh okay, I'm done. Like I don't know. I just like I got too drunk too early.
Yeah.
And I just like, it's like anytime it's like day drinking. Like I really can't really do like brunch drinking very well because that just means fuck my day. I'm gonna take a nap in the afternoon.
Drinking at brunch just means you're gonna have a headache at about 1:45.
Yeah,
Fuck
like
that.
cool. I'm gonna try and nurse a hangover
Yeah.
before bed.
Now, if you were a little hungover and you go to brunch, a Bloody Mary isn't the
Yes.
worst way to get back in the game.
Right. That is true.
That is my one caveat.
Wait,
to
so
that.
you're a Bloody Mary guy for getting back in the game? That's
Getting
your zone?
back. If I'm drinking a brunch cocktail, it's usually a Bloody Mary or a mimosa, grapefruit juice.
Okay.
But Bloody Mary would be my get back in the game.
What's your
drink.
feeling on red beers?
Never had one.
Like a Clamato?
Like I want to try one at some point, but
And-
never had one.
Oh, I love them. It's like salty. It's way better than a Bloody
Than a
Mary,
Bloody Mary.
in my opinion.
Okay.
I did some experimenting in that realm.
Yeah.
We tried.
Not for everybody. I know that.
Well, we tried. We had an abundance. This is how like a lot of drinks were made when I was still of the persuasion. We had a bunch of industrial sized cans of enchilada sauce, and we're like,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
we're like, it's red.
Oh no.
It's similar.
Oh no.
It's not.
No.
No,
It's
it's not.
not.
It's got
It
a
was
lot more.
now. Here's what I will say.
lot more
It
vinegar.
wasn't bad, but it was a peculiar taste.
Yo, the drink going to the like on
Peculiar
a
sounds
on
generous.
on a Saturday, I hate that I'm admitting this,
No.
but on a Saturday
Yep.
in Bozeman, Montana,
Uh-huh.
going out to Moonlight or
Yeah.
to Big Sky,
Mhm.
I definitely would drink one of those tall can like getting rid of my hangover tall can Clamato Bud Lights.
Oh, like the micheladas and all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah. The chelada. I
Uh-huh.
would just like snag one of those and just like sip that while I drove out down the canyon.
Our move was always one designated driver, and everyone else passes a bottle of Captain Morgan around the car.
There you go. I had a cursed thought while we were sitting here, and I was like, "Oh, I know how I could enjoy New Year's this year." And I think it's really going to depend on the set and setting. I was like, I could just eat a regular amount of mushrooms and then go out, and then I was like, "Wait, I already hate being out on New Year's." Like, but I don't know if that would tip the scale. And I'm just like, "Yeah, man, this is sick."
Well, I feel like Portland isn't really like a go to the bar, go out city as much as other places that I've lived. I feel like it's more of like a house party zone for things like this.
I think
Yeah.
you're right, because that one time I did go out to the bars. Like, there were a ton of people out, but it was like, I didn't know anybody. I didn't have that much fun. I was uncomfortable. You know?
I think the other complicating factor about New Year's, and this goes hand in hand with a lot of the drinking holidays, or at least some of them. Now that I have a dog that's afraid of fireworks, and I live in a working class neighborhood.
Didn't you and Rico stay
That was for-
literally in this room?
That was for 4th of July.
Oh, that was 4th of
yeah,
July.
That was the big one.
Brought the air bed. Don't tell our landlord.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, fine. You're gonna die. There's no windows. But 4th of July, New Year's in my neighborhood, definitely like clubs going up, and there's a lot of snapping and popping outside. So I always feel bad. I'm like, I gotta stay here with the dog, and like, I don't know that actually does anything. He's not like, oh, hey, like I'm fucking miserable, but at least the guy
At
that
least
lives
Dad's here.
at least the guy that lives with me is like over there playing video games or something. Like, I'm gonna try to figure it out. How am I gonna do it this year?
Do you have something figured out or no?
I really don't. That's the thing. My one thought is that we could like drive up and then walk up to like the Pittock Mansion up in the hills and then like watch all the fireworks from up there.
That could be
That'd be
cool.
kind of cool.
Yeah, I wonder
That's
if
cool.
that's like a thing.
It probably is. I'll get a bottle of champagne and like a couple of glasses.
Yeah.
And sit up there and drink champagne
cool.
in the cold.
Well,
If it's raining though, then that's not gonna be fun at all.
it's supposed to be a white Christmas. We're supposed to. I mean, this episode is coming out on that.
Yeah, I've heard that it could
so-
snow this week.
Yeah, look out the
Yeah.
windows. It snowed.
Yeah, look out the window.
Congratulations.
Well, I'm gonna be at Curious Comedy
Oh,
doing
that's right.
stand-up
Oh, shit.
comedy.
Oh, you're gonna be telling
Wait
shit
a
and
minute.
dick jokes?
Telling
That's
jokes.
awesome.
Oh man.
By the stroke of midnight, there's a 4-hour comedy marathon of just improv and stand-up, and I'm not totally sure where I am in the lineup exactly.
Well,
but
that sounds amazing.
I'm gonna be
Bjorn.
doing some
Everybody
stand-up.
listening to this, go see that. I probably won't be
sounds
there.
like a really fun option, right?
That sounds awesome and great and amazing.
I'm
and
doing the mental math on like if that would be torture.
4 hours of improv.
4
No, no,
hours
no.
of improv.
What else do you want to do?
No, I think it's kind of like you can come and go, and then they're just like, and then it's like a little bit of a party.
I wasn't intentionally trying to slander improv. What I was going to say is
I was
torture. If
sarcastically slandering improv a lot.
I wanted to know if that would either work or not work if I went forward with my plan of eating
No,
a correct amount of mushrooms.
I've
be great.
never done mushrooms, but I wouldn't want to see improv on them.
I just think like
I feel like I would want to improve my mood if I were on drugs where I couldn't fully control my thoughts.
but what
I
if
wouldn't
that
want to see
unlocked it?
something that made me unhappy.
I think I
and
would
that
be
would
down
be
to
improv.
try it, but not for 4 hours.
Yeah,
Like,
4
that's a
hours is a
lot.
bit.
I
That's
will
a
say
big commitment.
for me, if I eat mushrooms, one of the big things, and this is for a lot of people,
Yeah.
like you kind of gotta like get up and like do something. You can't just like sit around and be like,
you can't
"Oh,
just sit
man."
there with your thoughts.
I'm a walker. Like
Okay.
I go on walks when I eat mushrooms, and I
Okay.
just want to like put one foot in front of the other until stuff stops like slipping around. And yeah, post it up at Curious. I'd be like, they're like, yeah, why does that guy keep trying to get like in the balcony? Like, there's nothing going on up there, and I'm just like, dude, I just need to see
just
what's
need
going
to-
on.
just gotta
Yeah.
move.
Be distracting.
No, I think if you're doing mushrooms, then you should probably be outside, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be.
that's what I've heard. I'm
better.
probably not going to do them. I might drink a little bit, but hey.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I don't know. I might look into if any of the bars in my neighborhood that we like.
Yeah.
Like there's this cute little wine bar called M Bar.
That sounds fun.
Mhm.
Maybe
Something
just
mellow.
go there. Somewhere chill.
But it'll be crazier than normal.
Yeah, it'd
I
be
feel
like
like we did a
dozen
thing at.
people going woo
Yeah.
at midnight and then fucking going home.
Did we do? I feel like we did New Year's at Blank Slate one year. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you guys totally
we?
did. I wasn't there. I think it was the year that I went home.
Yeah.
And I just had a cold the whole fucking time I was home.
Yeah.
It's a theme for me apparently. But, like,
we
yeah.
did I feel like we did a show and then everybody did a shot. It was really fun.
That does sound fun.
That was fun.
I think maybe that's the move. Maybe this is. I apologize because I can't commit myself to 4 hours of improv.
Don't.
Or 3.5 hours of improv, and then you doing like what 10,
Yeah,
15,
like 10 minutes.
But I think maybe that's the move for us, like curmudgeons who don't want to be around like the drinking holiday crowd. If you go to like a comedy show, it's almost like a really good filter because if the people get too wasted and they start yelling at the stage,
Security takes them
they're gonna
out.
kick them the fuck out. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
it's like the you've been overserved and we can tell
Yep.
because now you're breaking the rules and you're going to be asked to leave. And then I don't have to deal with them anymore.
Yeah. Now, one thing I would say, I would go to a bar if it's like a chill neighborhood spot.
Mm-hmm.
You
like
know,
a locals
like-
only
like
type
blank-
of
or
like Blank
like a
Slate.
place that isn't a party bar, because all the people that we don't want to see are going to go to party bars.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, yes.
But I think they're going to go to all the bars.
they'll go to all the bars, but when they go to bars that I like, they're going to be like, dude, fucking nothing's going on here. There's no fucking chicks here, dude.
What do you
And
mean you
they'll-
don't have Fireball?
Yeah. Like, what's yeah.
Can I
they're
do a
not gonna
Jaeger
like-
Fireball
They're not
shot?
gonna like the bars I like because my bars aren't like party bars.
Yeah, I think maybe it's
my
like
bars are
the
quiet.
drinking holiday is just like crank it up.
Yeah.
Right? So if it's a bar that like you go and you're like, well, usually this isn't my bag, but yeah, I'm having a little fun. Like I'm getting out there. I'm going to dance for a little bit.
Yeah.
Those bars, you add 40% to that, and it's like, no, get me the fuck out of here right now. But if you're like at the Sleepy Saloon and you're
Uh-huh.
just like, I see the same 5 people here every time I come.
Those bars are going to be awesome on New Year's because anybody who's a regular will be there. Anybody who's a semi-regular will be there. And anybody who wants to party is going to go in and be like, oh, these people are just talking about, like...
It's blank slate.
Sports.
It's
and
blank
they'll
slate.
leave.
Again.
Or blank slate, they're talking about Star Trek and vinyl records.
Yeah.
Bunch of hipsters.
Oh, man.
Anyway.
It's great.
Bunch of dorks.
I
I
think
like blank slate. Shout out to them.
I like this.
But there's not a lot of sports talk in there.
Nope. It's part of
Not
why
that I
picked
can
it.
hold my own in sports talk. I
Yeah,
just kind of
sports
like
talk.
the vibe.
You like the
Sports
vibe
is
of a
cool.
sports bar?
I can only name like 7 players across all of the sports. But I like a sports bar.
You're
You
like
did
Nancy
call-
Kerrigan. She's still doing it?
Yeah,
Spinning?
she's still spinning
Wouldn't have
those
thought of her.
axles.
Yeah. Serena Williams, Michael Jordan. I'm going with retired as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
Tom
wait.
Brady.
Wait. I want you to.
That's
This was
3.
this was a thing. I
Marshawn
thought
Lynch,
somewhere
beast
it's like
mode.
name 5 female professional athletes.
Simone Biles, Serena Williams, Tanya Harding.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Let's
She's
see.
an MMA artist now.
Yeah, MMA artist.
Oh, MMA. Ronda Rousey.
Okay.
Now I'm just feeding
one
you
more.
Oh,
answers.
that's WWE. Let me think.
Uno
I've
mas.
listened to a lot of Joe Rogan podcasts. I gotta be able to come up with one more name.
Oh, is that the source for women athletes?
I love that.
It is for
I love
MMA,
that.
dude.
That's
It
true,
is
yeah.
for MMA. Like I said, it's 7 total.
You could say a sister and be done.
Not really,
No,
because I
that's
don't think she's
cheating.
still competing.
Venus. I don't think Venus
Okay,
plays
you got
as
it.
much.
You got it. It's fine.
I did say
I didn't
retired.
say current. I just said this is like a thing that I
Mm-hmm.
saw somewhere where it's like people can't name 5 professional
Rose,
female.
But hold on.
Namajunas. I think that's another fighter.
a lot of it's just a dumb sexist thing that I saw.
Well,
Hey, I just
hold,
named
no,
another one.
hold on.
but I can't do
Not-
it. I
not
can't
to turn-
name 5
You can't name
male.
5.
I probably
You
can,
can't name
but it's
5
fine.
women skateboarders. Try.
Not off the top of my head. I'm bad with names regardless. I can't even name 5 current like non-Nigel Houston skateboarders
Okay.
that are like in the like cultural. It's like
I mean, we had Jordan Kastner in here the other night, and you could have named him.
like professional skateboarders.
I mean, he works at Helium.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Fucking with you.
Anyway,
No, what I was going to say
Okay.
very quickly is like the whole like name 5
yeah.
women athletes.
Mhm.
I think the tone is like, yeah, you fucking misogynist.
yeah, you misogynist.
When in reality, now I'm going to say, I don't think a lot of those names are now some of the ones you missed that I think are kind of the easy low hanging
Yeah.
fruit, like Megan Rapinoe, right? Was everywhere.
I've never heard her name.
Don't
in my
know that
life.
one either.
What did
Megan
she play?
Rapinoe was the U.S. soccer team
Oh yeah. Okay.
soccer player.
Got it.
I'm not gonna fill in the blanks. I had a couple like you want to do MMA like Tara De La Rosa or whatever.
I've heard her
piece of
name.
shit, awful person, but technically an athlete.
All right, that's gonna do it for this episode.
Anyway, sorry.
Oh,
I guess
we had one more thing we wanted to talk about. Let's circle back to New Year's
yes.
real quick.
I'm
Okay.
ready.
You guys, when we were talking about the episode, you brought up resolutions.
Are you gonna set them? That's
Oh.
basically all it is. Like, is that a thing you do?
It
Or-
really isn't.
I'm fine with us talking about these or not.
I want to
mean,
talk about it.
I think let's
just
talk
'cause-
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's fun, and it's fun to hear people's philosophy on it. I kind of don't do New Year's resolutions.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just do, like, if I make a resolution, I can make that at any point in time in my life. Whether or not I follow through on it's a whole nother thing, but I don't really do a New Year's resolution because it's like,
Have you ever stuck to one all the way through?
no. I've
Terry,
never
have you
really
ever-
made a serious
I
one.
Have you
don't
ever
know
done
that
it?
I don't know that I've.
I've done it.
one.
I've done one to completion.
What'd you do?
I wore a bow tie to work every day. And I didn't know how to tie a bow tie before that. I had to. I remember I got up after New Year. After
They're
that
hard
whole
to tie. I know how
after
to tie
all
one.
that shit, it's the
Knew
same
how to
New
tie one.
that after that night where I made out with all those
Yeah.
dudes in like black coat. I actually had to work the next morning. And I remember I was telling people my resolution was I was going to learn how to tie a bow tie and I'm going to wear it to work every day. And then I had a bow tie. And I remember just like swearing. There was a YouTube video on my laptop because this was not I didn't have it on my I didn't have a smartphone at the time. So my laptop on the toilet with YouTube videos of how to tie a bow tie, and I was trying to figure it out at like 5 a.m. and it was so frustrating. And then I actually did it. I wore it to work every day for an entire year. I wore a bow tie.
At the coffee shop? Was this Caribou?
Yep. And you know what was funny about it? Everyone always thought I was the manager because I was better dressed than the manager every day at work. That was mine.
All right.
I remember people would be like, why do you wear a bow tie? And I was like, well, I made a New Year's resolution to do it. And everyone was just like, holy shit, you actually followed through with it? It's April. What the fuck are you doing? And
I don't know how I've never heard this story before.
Really? I don't know.
You started saying, you're like, New Year's resolution, I'm going to wear a bow tie. And I was like, I have this entire soundboard in front of me. The plethora of noises that I could make. And I'm stumped.
Yeah.
I
I'm
did it.
impressed that you actually did it for a full year.
Yeah.
Because that would have been one where I was like, wait, nobody's worn a bow tie since the Roaring 20s, and in earnest.
And this was in
except at a wedding.
I want to say this was
Black tie is required,
2013 or 14.
Was there like a uniform you had to wear a collared shirt?
We had to wear a collared shirt.
Okay, this makes a little more sense because I was like, man, that's a commitment because then you gotta you can't wear the t-shirt and the bow tie.
It was just
I
a way. It
definitely
was
have
a way
worn a
of
bow
me
tie once or
personally
twice for
expressing
fun.
myself just a
Sure.
little bit at work. It was
Yeah.
like there was no way we had to wear either a white or black collared shirt. It could be a polo, and I just wore a black Dickies shirt every single day.
Okay.
Short sleeve, and then I wore a bow tie.
So did you have like a lot of bow ties?
Well, I had a couple. I went to I don't know, Ross or whatever, and I just bought a couple that I liked. And then actually one of my regulars, he was like this finance guy. He wore a bow tie every day of his life, his entire professional career. And then one day he came in and he was like, "Hey, I noticed you wear bow ties. I have a massive collection of bow ties, and I tried to give it to my son, and he told me to go fuck myself." No, he
filed paperwork to divorce me.
Yeah, he's no longer my son. No, he's like, my son didn't want him. Would you want him? And I was like, hell yeah, I want him. So he brought in like 3 Winco shopping bags, just plastic full of bow ties, which is hundreds, like literally hundreds. I actually had to purge some myself.
If they're nice, right? They're made of silk or something. They're like $40.
Yeah.
$50.
And some of them were just like a little too wild, or just like prints and colors and things I would never, ever wear. I mostly wore plaid.
But you had
ones.
800 to choose from.
I had so many. I ended up I gave a bunch of them away, and then I did end up giving a whole bunch of them to the thrift store or whatever. But at one point, but yeah, I still have a massive bow tie collection.
That's awesome.
Just mostly because I only bought like 3 or 4, and I was rotating between them. And then this dude just totally just gave me a ton of them.
The bow tie fairy pulled up and was
like
sprinkling bow ties across the Caribou coffee counter.
Right. Well, he was so hyped, and then he was always stoked when he saw me wearing them.
But the thing is, that's like I feel like that's a big bow tie thing. Like if there's anything that I could compare to like being a young skateboarder and seeing somebody with a skateboard and be like, we're the same.
Totally.
We're the same.
Bow tie guy and
If you're the bow tie guy, I got a question. Hold on. Was he bald?
No, I don't. I believe he wore hats, but I do remember
So
he
yes.
had those
Yes.
probably.
He
had
got
those
a bow tie and a hat.
He had those
bald as fuck.
round glasses.
Of course he did.
Just round glasses.
Just looking like Harry Potter.
Oh
rolling
yeah,
in.
Harry Potter.
And
buddy.
I'm not trying to stunt, but like there's and this
Dude
is
was
why
probably
this is,
60 though.
This
honestly.
is why it's so perplexing to me that because it's both very Bjorn to wear a bow tie with a short sleeve Dickies shirt.
Yep, it's my look
every day.
I would wear suspenders sometimes too.
Yep, that tracks. But it's funny because bow tie guy to me is forgive me, I'm not trying to draw comparisons, but old racist guy on Fox News. Tucker Carlson used to be a bow tie guy when he was on CNN.
Yeah.
Bow ties are for some reason the first thing that pops up in my head is the white people from the movie Get Out, are stealing black men's identities so they could get in that body.
That wasn't my intention.
No. And this is why I'm saying with you being a bow tie guy, you're shattering this this image of bow tie guys that
I
had.
wanted to look like a teddy bear. That was my intention.
I don't think of that, Terry. I definitely have worn a bow tie once or twice. I used to like once a year like wear one like to school when I was in college just because I had one and I learned how to tie it and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna be fancy today, and it was dumb. But what can you do? But I always think of it kind of like the same as like the fedora guy, where it's like a guy with no confidence who's like, I'm going to dress in this bold thing that'll help me pretend to have confidence. That's what I was doing when I did it, and it didn't
You
work.
were peacocking, yes.
Yeah, in like a weird way, and it didn't work.
I pulled up, for the viewers at home, you're probably not going to be able to see this, but I Google image searched bow tie guy. We have Bill Nye the Science
Guy is a notable bow tie guy.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I guess, is he kind of like one of the upper echelon of like notable bow tie guys?
I feel like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say he's up there for sure.
Was like who's the Al Roker? Was he a bow tie guy?
I do.
Could be.
Oh, apparently. I do remember when these wooden bow ties came out. That's about when I got out of the game.
Yeah, that sounds pretty dumb. The whole thing for me is that they're kind of complicated to tie. And so like learning to actually tie one
Same.
is cool. And then but there's like most bow ties that you would buy are pre-tied, which
Totally.
is fucking dumb.
You
It
know
is
who,
dumb.
You know
That's
who
not
I've
even
seen
participation.
make a lot of strides into the bow tie community
Who?
in the last, I'll say 15 years, and this is maybe just my perspective. Maybe this is like a long thing. I know a lot of lesbians that wear bow ties.
Oh yeah, that's
I
totally.
feel like that's like a
yeah.
thing for
That's-
sure.
yeah, like a lesbian wedding for sure.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense.
Here's what got me
Yeah.
out of the bow tie, and then I almost feel like we should get out of here. But the thing that it was, I grew my beard out, and then and like even when I didn't have my beard grown out, like if it was like stubble, I would just wreck these nice bow ties because it just hits my my neck and my stubble and my beard, and it just tears them to pieces. Like
The
so
bow ties,
all
so
of
the bow ties would like pill out.
they start to pill and fray like on the top, and
Oh,
that was
interesting.
when I kind of
never in a million years would have thought like.
yeah. I mean
Huh.
the way that I would fix them is actually this is like a I don't know, a little low key fixes. You take your like razor that you shave with, and you can just
like shave that pilling
yeah,
off of
you
there?
can shave. Same with like a couch. If you have like a couch or something with pilling on it,
fascinating.
you just use your razor and to just like a triple
Shit, I'm
blade
gonna go
thing.
home and fix some sweaters.
like
go home and fix
you
the
just
couch that my
lightly,
dog's
and I
destroying.
usually use like an old one, so it's like you don't need like a super sharp one. You just kind of like pull it out.
Okay.
But yeah, that
Real
was my
quick
big
before
thing.
we go, Terry, resolutions. What do you do?
I am not. I think resolutions are like I don't know, if you're not going to make that change in your life, what is like the one time the year where they're just like so notoriously broken.
Yeah.
Right? And like we've talked about it on the show before, but like the people that are like, all right, that's it, getting in shape. And like every person that's ever worked at a gym is just like, yeah, man, New Year's, like the first 2 weeks of New Year's, it's like, you see a lot of people that have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
And don't worry, because you're not going to see them again.
You'll never see them
yeah,
again.
I did always hate January when I
would-
had a gym
Oh,
membership.
yeah, pretty much that's when you don't go.
I would
Yeah.
say resolutions, if they are, you're like a business fella. Is it the SMAC test? You're familiar with this?
No, I have an
Smart-
engineering degree. I don't do business.
It's like smart, measurable, achievable, and I don't know, something
like
else.
SMART goals.
Smart goals. Maybe
yeah.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
something. Yeah, they're making goals that you can actually achieve.
That's my biggest thing is like
Yeah.
if you're going to do the New Year's resolution that is so completely off the beaten path for you, you're like, I'm going to start doing this or doing that, running 5 miles a day.
Yeah.
If you don't run, you ain't doing shit.
Yeah, these are people that have never been to therapy, 100%.
Yeah.
People who are like big into resolutions, they're obviously not going to carry through them, and they've definitely never been to therapy. Because SMART goals was one of the early things
One of
that
the
like
things.
I started hearing about when I started going to therapy. Was like, yeah, you have to make goals that you can genuinely achieve. You can't make like a big pie in the sky fucking goal right
Yeah.
off the jump
No.
because you're not gonna.
It's actually
It's literally
it's
impossible.
actually an avoidance technique.
It'll discourage
If you make such a big thing,
Yeah,
you're
it allows
obviously
you,
going to
it
you're
allows
like
you to be like, well, that's fucking ridiculous. I can't
Exactly.
do that right now.
it's something
and
that
then you just
can't
don't do it at all.
do.
So that'll take me to my statement on the thing.
Yeah.
I think that resolutions can be fun if they're like small, quirky, like fun,
like wearing a bow tie to work.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah,
perfect.
like-
You're just like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm gonna do this, and like I'm gonna get 3 months in. I'm like, wow, I'm really doing it. But if it's like, okay, like I'm gonna completely change my persona at work, like relax.
Yeah,
relax.
it can't be big. It's got to be like little and fun and something you want to do.
I guess there's definitely been things where it's like New Year's. It's not resolutions, but it definitely makes me think about kind of like goals that I have for my life, not for like that year.
Well, that's
like-
but that's just like a good end
Like
of the
when
year
I
round
started comedy, I definitely signed up for that class halfway through in January because it was just like one of those. I think it just was fresh in my mind. Like this is something that I would regret having never
Yes.
tried.
So that's my and
my
I'm gonna.
thought was more like if I turn
Yeah.
40 and I'm just like, working in an office, and I always thought maybe I would want to be a comedian,
Yeah.
and I never even tried it, I would be very, very
That's
super bummed.
peeved with myself.
That's my favorite thing, and I know Terry's gonna hate this, but I'm gonna get into a little self-helpy zone because it's the best thing I ever read in any of the
No, I
many
like
books
the
that I read.
self-helpy zone a little
So
bit.
what I like to do is I always do a year in review instead of resolutions, and I just like write down all the cool shit that I did, and it just reminds me of like
I
what
like
I
that.
achieved.
Dude, I really
in
like
that year.
I might even do that because I had a good year
Like,
this year. So I like some
It's
positive. I
it's
like
just
some
kind of
positive
fun to
ego
just be
boosting shit.
like, oh wow, like look at all these cool things that I did. Now the self-helpy thing that I love, and I'm on the other side of it, and it can have its own stress, and there's problems with any of these things. Like if you literally, if you meditate too much, you're like doing too much of the work yourself and not looking at like the shitty things going on around you. But what I love is it's kind of on what you said. It was like, I like to write down my regrets and then make those regrets into goals. So like they have to be things that I have control over. It's like, how can I have control over that? Like I don't regret things that I don't have control over, but if you like define a regret is something you thought you did, or like even it's like, oh, I should have talked to that girl at the bar, or like whatever it is. So you make your goal talk to the girl that you want to talk to, or like whatever the thing is that you had. I think that's the best way to set goals, is like just think about your biggest regret of last year, and then just make this year, hey, I'm gonna do that thing.
But you have to apply like that SMART goal idea to that.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I can't fix this.
Win the
past-
lottery.
Yeah,
isn't-
I can't fix that scenario, but I can make a goal that's like one thing I can do every day.
you
Just
could,
one tiny change you can make.
but
It's
you
really
could
easy to make.
talk to that girl next
Right.
time there's a girl you want to talk to, or like I don't know why I'm using that as an example, but like just putting myself
No,
out
because you
there
know
more.
me, and that would
Would
be
that
a
be a
thing
thing?
that I probably have thought on a New Year's many times.
Yeah, where you like regret not doing something.
Yeah.
Like I think those are really good places to start with
Sure.
goals, and then obviously just like things you can control. Just focus on like that. Be the like okay, what are the aspects of this that I can control? So
Yeah.
like for our podcast, for example, it's just like, you know what, I'm gonna make the resolution. It's like we're gonna do 2 episodes every week for the whole year.
Yeah, that's
I-
the thing, is like doing things that are within your control
Right.
instead of being like,
Oh, I want 10,000 views on
Yeah,
one video or something. It's like,
exactly.
it's going to be, no, I'm going to release
I'm just going to make
another
a good
50
product, and
or
I'm going to make a
104 videos.
consistently release a good product.
I just said
Because
100.
that's what we can do.
Yeah.
104, that is
That
double
is
of 52.
so many videos.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I'm going to be
For
editing
free.
a lot.
You're welcome. Anyway, I
Totally
think
worth it.
That might be
because
it.
we edit so much of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
No, this is
It's getting
this
better.
Is,
We got the
this
Terry
is
cam.
produced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you've definitely been piling some work on your plate.
Yeah, no, this is the best production value podcast.
I
in
cut all
Portland.
the rest of my podcasts just to focus
Yeah.
on this one.
This is the
There we
best
go.
podcast in Portland.
Reduce and excel.
Yeah.
love
All right,
it.
Terry, you
Production
want to take
value
us out?
unrivaled.
Yeah, that'll wrap it up for this episode of Off Topic here in the Size 10 Studios. We've got full episodes being posted on Wednesday, and these coming out on Friday. You can get them straight to your feed by subscribing on Apple, Spotify. You can follow us on YouTube, and you get video on Spotify as well. You can also get all the audio on all the popular podcast platforms out there. Speaking of platforms, follow us on the social ones, Twitter and Instagram at Size 10 Podcasts. If you're in Portland, Oregon, and you want to come see the boys up on stage, and you want to see 10 of the best comedians that you're going to see on a Thursday night, Funhouse Lounge, guest spot comedy. It's 10 p.m., $5 to get in with the Vax card. We'd love to see you there. And hopefully by then somebody took me up on the free drink, but we'll see. You can also catch Bjorn along with Maricha and Jaron George up on stage at the Curious Comedy Theater on MLK every third Saturday of the month. Really fun show, vibe comedy. Don't want to miss out on that. And yeah, subscribe, like, hit us up, send us questions, and let's get out of here, boys.
All right. Thanks.